and wash. With the bok choy, soak them in water for 30 minutes. Before you soak, make sure you cut them in half. There's a lot of sand in between. Kind of wash them back and forth like this. Use 3 quarts of cold water and put in all the chicken bones. Add in 1 teaspoon of whole peppers and 1 tablespoon of cooking wine. Also 1 teaspoon of salt and bring to a boil. Cut 1.5 ounces of ginger in half. We're going to use this for the stock. Give it a pound. And peel 1/2 ounce of ginger and then thinly slice. And kind of pound them to a fine texture and mince. Cut 2 large onions in half and peel them. 3 parts go into the soup and the 1 part left over is for the fillings. For the filling, coarsely dice the onions. The recipe is supposed to use water chestnut, but I have no access to water chestnuts, so I'm just using onion for now. Give the white portion of the scallion a whack and then thinly or finely mince it. This portion will go into the fillings and then thinly slice the rest. Divide into 2 sections. One is for the fillings and the other green parts is for the garnish. With the carrots, cut into big chunks. Set aside. To devein the shrimp, simply poke a toothpick right to the back of the tail and pull out the vein. For any recipe that requires to boil the shrimp first, this is a great way to devein them. No mess. Even after you cook them, you cut the shrimp in half, you don't see the messy black vein. Okay, now we're going to peel the shrimp. Start from the head and then pull the tail out. Dice the prawn in chunks, not too finely. Kind of twist and turn the shrimp as you cut, so make it like chunky, but not like a flat cut. Okay, skim away the scums on the surface until the broth is clear and reduce the heat to low and just let it cook itself until the broth reduces. This way the broth is very sweet. Make sure you continuously skim away the scums, okay? Add in onions and carrots. Add in 2 ounces of rock sugar and 1 tablespoon of chicken powder. Now we're gonna mix the fillings. I'm just gonna use half of the package of ground meat. It's 2.7 pounds. I'm just gonna use half of it. Okay, add in 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Any soy sauce will do. Half tablespoon of oyster sauce. Half tablespoon of cooking wine. Half tablespoon of chicken powder. A little bit of sugar and drizzle in sesame oil. One teaspoon of ground peppers, and then add in the rest of the ginger, shallot, and spring onion. Add in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of cold water. This is gonna help the meat to bind together. You don't need to use any egg, but if you want to use egg, you can also use that well. Mix all ingredients well. Use your hand, lift all the fillings of the meat up and kind of throw it against the bowl just like this. Repeat 4 times. Let it rest. Scoop a little meat for the fillings into the wonton. Remember to use the side with more powder. Make sure you wet all sides of the wonton skin. Fold it in half like this triangle. Make sure you seal it tight and remove all air pockets. Okay? And then you're going to make a little indent gently in the middle, and then fold the side, and then wet one of the end of the wonton, and then tightly press it. Now that our broth is done cooking, just scoop out everything. You can put the carrots on the side for anyone who likes to eat the carrots. Mix 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and this is for the dipping, and 1 teaspoon of sauteed chili, and then about 1 teaspoon of red wine vinegar, any brand. Mix them well and set aside when you eat. This is served as a dipping sauce for the wonton. Bring a separate pot to water to a boil. Add some salt and oil. We're gonna pot boil the bok choy. Cook it for 15 seconds, remove and soak right into the cold water, and then drain and set aside on a plate. We're going to use the same water for boiling the wonton. So just add more water, bring it to a boil again, and put the wonton individually one after the other. Make sure you use the colander just to kind of stir it so the wonton don't stick to the pots. Usually the wonton is cooked for 8 or more minutes until it's cooked, but because I'm going to serve it right away, so I'm going to cook it for 5 minutes and transfer it to my soup pots, and it continues to cook. If you don't serve the wonton right away, I highly recommend you to cook it for 8 minutes and then blanch in cold water and set aside on a plate. This way it don't taste smushy, because when it stays in the pot too long, it's going to get smushy. Bring the same pot to a full boil and blanch in the noodle for 5 seconds, and then remove and soak in cold water, kind of shock it a little bit, and then put it back into the hot pots of water again for a few more seconds, and then right onto the bowl. Okay, you're gonna place some cooked bok choy in the bowl, as many as you like, and then you're gonna pour in the wonton in the soup, and then sprinkle some scallion and some peppers, and you're done. Enjoy the soup.